What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast. And today we have a living legend in the building. We're talking about this man here. He's not a rapper whatsoever, but you know his name. Listen, he's one of the most notorious, but one of the most thinking people you could imagine right now. You know who we have in the building? We have Freeway Rick Ross in the building today. What's going on, big boss?
Just finishing my little workout, man.
Yeah.
Breathing a little hard right now. Sucking in all the things that's going on in the world right now.
Trust me.
It's a trying time.
Trust me, we know this. And right now, where are you located?
I'm in Los Angeles.
You're in Los Angeles. And what is it like out there right now? Are you guys under quarantine? You guys are out of quarantine? What's it like out there?
We're out of quarantine, but we still have restrictions. I thought we should have stayed in quarantine at least another month, maybe 2 months.
Okay.
But Donald Trump was pushing the country to reopen, and they broke in and they did it. But the numbers are going crazy right now. I think we're getting like 5,000 to 6,000 new infections every day.
That's crazy. And this is just in the LA area or the whole of the US?
Yeah, this is just LA.
Wow.
The US, I think we're getting 45,000 new infections every day.
That's insane. Wow. Yeah. Wow. And how has it affected you or your business since we're all in quarantine right now?
Well, I haven't been able to travel and do, a lot of my stuff is speaking engagements. So I haven't been able to travel, but I've just been finding other ways to work, doing interviews on Zoom and working my social media, as well as getting my marijuana line together.
Yeah, we see that. We definitely see that. We're going to be getting into that shortly still, for sure. Okay, so you say you were traveling and you were speaking around the country before, but now I guess clearly we're grounded, so you can't be doing that right now.
Correct. And right now I don't really want to be around people because we're supposed to be social distancing. So when people come up, sometimes people come up and want to take a picture. I mean, I feel bad, but we're not supposed to be taking pictures. We're not supposed to be close to each other.
Yeah.
Especially not without our masks on.
Yeah, definitely. And they recommend that you wear a mask right now when you go outside.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the same thing happening in Toronto. Have you ever been to Canada before?
I haven't. I don't know if I ever be able to come because I hear you guys have a law that they don't allow convicted felons inside of Canada.
Yeah, well, the trick with it, just like everything else, you understand if you go through the right connections, the right doors, the right people, anything is possible.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I definitely would love to come to Canada, and I have a lot of friends over there. One in particular, Jay Worthy. Me and him been friends since I got home almost. And,
okay.
He's Canadian, so I definitely want to come over and see what it's like.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially how you're in the marijuana business. Canada is definitely a stronghold when it comes to that right now.
Yeah, you guys are federally legal, so you guys are doing publicly traded companies and all kind of stuff over there that we're not allowed to do over here yet.
Yet, you guys are getting there though.
Yeah. Well, these people are still run by the good old boys, and they like to keep things the way it always was, and they don't like to change.
Yeah, no, you're right. Let's get into the actual story of Mr. Freeway Rick Ross here, all right?
All right, let's do it.
How did you originally get your name Freeway? Did you get it before you actually got into the game, or you got it after you got into the game?
Before. I was Freeway before I got in the game.
And how did you get your name?
It's crazy. We used to play football, and everything we did was on the side of the freeway. And when I started lowriding, it was a guy who was really like the top guy of the lowriders, and he started calling us the Freeway Boys, and the name just stuck.
Yeah. Okay, so there was Freeway Rick Ross. I know it's more you guys in the crew also.
Yeah, it was. It was about 30 of us maybe.
Okay. But your name stuck as in Freeway Rick Ross.
Yeah, I've always kind of been like a leader, of the group,
Hmm.
and people remember the leader. They may not
Yeah,
remember the group, but they remember the
yeah.
leader.
Always the lead singer. They always do. I know
Yeah,
it's. You know what? It seems like you're a bit tired there because I know right now in LA it's what 9 a.m. right now.
yeah, that's late though. I'm not
Yeah,
tired. I wasn't on it from there. I just finished my workout.
got you, got you.
I'm trying to lose this weight. I'm about 15 pounds too heavy.
Hmm. Because you've been grounded, you didn't actually get to go on the road.
Exactly, exactly. But I was gaining weight before that. When
Yeah.
when when I left jail, I was only 7% fat. I was really nice,
Okay.
great conditioning.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to that.
Definitely. All right, because I know originally you started out wanting to be a professional tennis player. That was really your goal in life.
Yes, it
And
was.
the funny thing with it, especially coming from South Central LA, there wasn't really much tennis players. It's more or less basketball, football, probably even soccer or something. Why did you choose tennis of all sports to actually go into?
Well, I wanted to play football and basketball, but when it was time to go to high school, I was small,
Mhm.
and none of the coaches paid me any attention. So I had to do something else.
Yeah. Okay, so tennis now, because I know, as you said, you were too small for basketball and football and stuff like that, so you chose tennis. So actually, how good were at tennis?
I was pretty good. I wasn't the best in the world, but I had a few good wins.
Hmm.
Lawrence King, who was on the circuit, I think he was ranked in the top 100.
Okay.
Whenever he came off the tour, he would come and get me to work out with him. So I was good enough to work out with him and give him a workout.
Okay.
And I beat a guy who one day became the top 20 in the world. Um, I beat him when we were younger.
Yeah.
Um, I had a few good wins.
Yeah. Definitely tennis, eh? So then I know with the journey, because I've done a lot of research, I've been looking at your stuff, your documentaries and all this stuff. So then I know, when did the inception of Superfly hit first? Did you actually see Superfly while you were playing tennis, or this was before you were playing tennis?
I think it was before I played tennis.
It was before. So then that seed was already in your mind about Superfly.
Yeah, it was there already.
Yeah. And what was it about Superfly, that movie in particular, that just said, yes, this is what I like and this is what I want to do?
Well, I'm from Texas,
Hmm.
and I would go back to Texas every summer to work with my uncles.
Hmm.
Make some money and get some working skills.
Hmm.
And in Texas, my uncles used to say yes sir and yes ma'am to white people, even
Okay.
if they was younger than they were.
Hmm. Okay.
And the white people used to call them by their first name. So I kind of felt that was a form of disrespect
Hmm.
in a sense. Why should you be saying yes sir to a young white person and they call you by your first name?
Hmm.
Well, anyway, when I saw the movie Superfly, it was the first time in my life that I saw a black man dominate white men.
Got you.
And I don't know if you remember the scene, but at the scene they were harassing him,
Hmm.
and he took off on him. He beat him up,
Yeah.
and then they grabbed him and they had the gun to his head, and he said, "Hold up, uh, if you hurt one hair on my head,
Hmm.
that big butt little white girl you got that's going to school to such and such a school, she ain't safe. Your wife ain't safe. I took a contract out on your life.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, your wife too.
Hmm.
And if you think I got some niggas to do it, no, I got some good white folks, killers. And if you hurt one hair on my head, they gonna take care of you." And that terrified the police. It's just like they backed up off of him. So that was the first time in my life that I'd ever seen that. And
Hmm.
growing up in LA, we've been made to sit down on the curb by the police, and just different things that we shouldn't have had to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. I
Hmm.
didn't like sitting on the curb.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. laying on your stomach on the ground, and we had been through that. So to see a black man make the cops stand down like that was like, wow,
Yeah.
I want that power. And
Yeah.
what I realized is that in my young mind, I fixed that cocaine is what gave him that power.
I understand there. So again, this is the seed that's planted back then, but then you decided to go sports because was there anybody involved with cocaine within your reach at that point there while you
No,
were in
no,
tennis?
I never seen cocaine before.
hmm Okay, so you figured, okay, that's a nice fantasy. That's okay. I'm gonna just go and do tennis here. I'm gonna figure my way out here. So then now, when you're about to get your scholarship or you're trying to get a scholarship, and they figured out that you couldn't read or write, how did that make you feel? And then what was your next move from there?
Well, I thought the system had let me down again.
Mhm.
People had told me, that I should go to school, but nobody had explained to me why and how to actually do that. So um, when when it was time for me to graduate
Yeah.
and I couldn't read or write, and they told me that I needed schooling to do that, it threw me for a curve.
hmm
It was something that I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah. And what grade was this we're speaking about here?
12th grade,
12th grade. Okay. And this was at the beginning of 12 or at the end of 12?
the end,
The end of 12.
the end.
Okay. So when did you get involved with the teacher, the upholstery teacher that introduced you to the coke game?
Right after that,
Right after that.
right after the
Okay.
12th grade.
hmm All right. And how did that conversation go and actually start in the first place?
Well, we were friends.
Mhm.
We played tennis together,
Okay.
um, and I was messing with cars. I started low riding,
Okay.
and he told me that I should come and learn how to do interior. Because I wanted to get my car done anyway. So, I might as well learn how to do it. So that's how it started. And it went from there to when I started selling cocaine, I stopped going to class.
Mhm.
So when I saw him again, he asked me where had I been,
Mhm.
and I explained to him that I was selling cocaine.
Yeah. Wasn't that, even though you guys were kind of close, wasn't that kind of something weird to tell the teacher at the time?
It was, but he was more than just a teacher. He was a friend.
Yeah.
He was somebody that I trusted. That I felt wouldn't exploit you. Wouldn't take your weaknesses and use them against you.
Okay.
So I didn't want to tell him, but he kept prying.
Mhm.
He kept prying. Where you been? Where you been?
Mhm.
And I felt I should tell him.
Yeah. And then after you told him, where did it go from there?
He told me to come by his house
Mhm.
that night. So I went by his house that same night.
Mhm. And that's where the whole saga this is where everything really started to kick off then.
Yeah. It had kicked off before that, though. I mean, it had already kicked off in my mind already. I was
Yeah.
already on the move.
Mhm.
So it was on and popping already.
Yeah. So you just actually now needed the merchandise because in your mind, you made up your mind, okay, this is where we're going. I just need to find the merchandise to actually get this ball rolling.
I was getting the merchandise already before,
Mhm. Okay.
but he enhanced that.
He was the connect, you know what I mean? He made it start happening for you
Yes,
in a different way from there.
yes,
All right. And then
absolutely.
I think I read your story. You actually started out with a 50 and you had brought it to somebody to exactly show them what it was.
Correct.
Yeah. And then what had happened from there?
He used it all up.
Yeah.
Then he owed me $50.
And this is back in the 70s or 80s?
uh, Late 70s, early 80s,
Okay. It's just because I wanted people to understand that $50 back then is probably about $200 right now. So for somebody to
or
owe you
more,
$50,
or
yeah,
more,
right
or
off the
more.
top.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
he introduced you.
being in debt for the 50 was not a good feeling.
Yeah.
And the guy that I owed was a good friend of mine, somebody that I had a lot of respect for, and I didn't want to owe him any money.
Yeah.
Let's say that. Let's
And that
say
was a
that.
big. All right, I got you. I understand. And then when you started to actually move towards now, what was your first quote unquote big purchase? As in, was it an eighth? Was it a ounce? What was your first big purchase where you felt like, okay, I'm actually doing something now?
I ate.
Yeah. And exactly
Yep.
what is an eighth?
3.5 grams.
Yeah. And this is the powder cocaine.
Yeah, powder. Um, Back then, though, it probably was about a gram of cocaine and about 2.5 grams of cut.
Yeah.
You didn't get much. Hey, you didn't get much cocaine in those days.
It was, I guess it was considered a rich man drug back then. So especially,
Very,
yes.
very rich man drug.
Mhm.
You just imagine that a gram of cocaine was worth $350.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So clearly you got to
The
be
price
doing
dropped
something.
though. When the war on drugs, the price went down.
Yeah.
Can
But
you imagine that?
you think it would actually go up.
Yeah, but it went down. It went totally the opposite. They created the war on drugs.
Yeah.
When I started, I bought my first kilo for 48,000. I bought my first ounce. I paid $3,300 for an ounce of cocaine. So you do 33 times 36.
Yeah.
So that means kilos were probably worth at that time about, I don't know, 200 something, 300,000 almost.
Crazy. Crazy.
So they went from there. The last kilo that I bought, I think I paid 10,000 for a kilo.
That's a big okay. Is it because you were in so deep, or is the prices got so low?
I don't know. It's hard
Yeah.
to tell which one
Yeah.
happened. Both, hey, both happened. I
Yeah.
was in deep and the prices went low.
Yeah. So it's a win-win for all parties involved.
Yeah, yeah. And
All right.
my mindset was that if it got cheaper,
Mhm.
then poor people could afford it.
Got you.
And I was looking at it from a seller's standpoint. I
Mhm.
wasn't really focused on users as much as I should have been. I should have been more focused on users than I was. Uh, but what I'm trying to say is that I wanted it so that people in the ghetto could afford to buy it and resell it. That's what I was thinking. It was an industry for us to monopolize.
You were gone there.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the service had disconnected for a quick minute there.
Oh, okay. You didn't hear me.
Yeah. No. I didn't hear what you were saying there.
Oh, I said that I was trying to run the price down so that the people in the ghetto would be able to afford to get in the game because it was too expensive for
Yeah.
people in the ghetto.
Yeah.
And I looked at it as if I was bringing a piece of Hollywood to the ghetto.
Yeah.
We all wanted to be in Hollywood. We want to be on stage like Michael Jackson and
Yeah.
on Soul Train like Don Cornelius and all the other entertainers that was enjoying the finer things of life. And I looked at cocaine as to be one of the finer things of life.
For sure. And where would you actually find your clientele at that time there, since it was more or less considered a rich man type of drug?
Clientele, they bring you clientele. If you stay down, the clientele will come. People will just come to you and introduce you to other people who are using.
Yeah. If you build it, they will come type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, definitely agreed 100%. Now, I knew that you also said that you thought your life mission was to sell cocaine. That was your life's mission
Yeah, I thought.
at one point. And where did you actually come up with that way of thinking in the first place? What made you think that?
Well, if you grow up poor
Mm-hmm.
and hungry sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and then something starts to happen for you where you just get all the money that you ever dreamed about. then you start to believe that this is a gift
Hmm.
from somebody that is powerful.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had been taught that God was all powerful.
Got you.
So, as big as this gift was, it had to come directly from God Himself.
Yeah.
Nobody else could have did this for me. Not my mom, not my dad, not my uncles. Nobody I knew could have done that for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know nobody that was making the kind of money that I was making.
Hmm.
I'd never seen anybody that made that kind of money. You're talking about $1
Crazy.
million every day. Some days $3 million. You know, it's like, what the?
Yeah.
You know, where is this coming from? I ain't gonna question it. Just don't let it stop.
Don't stop at all. And especially then, you're so new to it. Because when did you think you were rich and when did you discover, okay, you know what? I am rich. What was those two different stages?
I thought I was rich when I bought my first ounce.
Okay.
An ounce at that time, you know, you could break it down and it'd be worth about $9,000.
Okay.
So I got $9,000, 18, 19 years old, living in the ghetto with my mom, who house probably, I think my mom paid $15,000 for her house.
Yeah.
So now I got half of what she paid for her house uh, in a shoebox.
Crazy.
And the cool thing is that I could continue to make it.
Hmm.
It wasn't like it was a one-time thing, you know. It's like, okay, I could spend this whole nine today, and in a week I'm gonna make it again.
Crazy. There was no end in sight. It just seemed like it's going to go on and on and on.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, when you start having it like that, you start to think,
Hmm.
you know, like I did, that it
Yeah.
was a blessing from God.
Yeah. Makes sense. And when did you know that you were rich? When did that light bulb hit you like, oh, okay, you know what? We are rich here now.
You know, I really didn't understand. I didn't really understand money.
Okay.
You know, I was still young. You know, I'm still. You know, I built my motel. I think I was like 20, 22, 23 years old.
Okay.
Um, no training, no formal training. You know, no father. Um I'm picking up mentors as I go,
Yeah.
but I don't even know that I should be picking up mentors. This is just happening naturally. You
Yeah.
know, the allure of the money that I have is
Hmm.
starting to draw people to me uh, that become mentors.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like I said, you know, hey, let me go find a guy that's a contractor and get him to teach me.
Yeah.
No, I learned that from trying to build a motel. You know, that I could learn from contractors, and that I could use a contractor's license to do my own building. You know, that I could be a contractor myself.
Yeah.
You know, money brings knowledge.
For sure. And with that now, you said, what were some of your mentors actually telling you back then also? Because you figured, okay, we now have this lump sum of money. What were they telling you to do with the money?
About real estate.
Hmm.
Back then, everybody was saying, put your money in real estate. Put your money in real estate.
Hmm.
Uh, buy property, put it in your family member's name to protect it. Stuff like
Yeah.
that there.
Yeah. And do you take a lot of that advice? You purchase a lot
Absolutely.
of
I bought
property?
a lot of real estate. Yeah, I had a lot of real estate.
Yeah. What were some of the stuff that you actually purchased?
Motel, junkyard, apartment buildings, houses.
Yeah. Okay. And this is still while you're in your 20s.
Yeah, I went to jail at 28 years old.
Okay. So, yeah, you're, wow. So you amassed all of this wealth, all of these millions of dollars before your 30s.
Yeah, before I was 27.
Yeah. Wow. And did you really understand what you were doing or how serious it was or what kind of trouble it could get you into at that time there?
No, not really. I knew that I could go to jail,
Hmm.
and I was prepared for that. You know, I looked at it as if I was going to be the sacrifice lamb for my family. You know,
Yeah.
if I sacrificed myself, my family would be good. You know, because
Hmm.
we were going around trying to get jobs and nobody would hire us. So, I was like, why the hell you gonna look for somebody? Just create your own business.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's really how I looked at cocaine, and the business of cocaine was to establish myself and my family into business.
Yeah. So you figured that, okay, even if I got to sacrifice myself, I'll plant this tree here that's going to grow so big and everybody's going to get something out of it because I put in the work first. I'm the
Right,
founding father for the family.
right.
Yeah. No, definitely that right there. Mentioning even Superfly. When you seen it, you said, okay, this is what I want to be. When you actually became Superfly, was that lifestyle as glamorous as you thought it was going to be? Or did you even get a chance to really think back, say, hey, I made it to this level here right now?
Yeah, I loved it.
Hmm.
I fell in love with the lifestyle. Um, I accepted it.
Hmm.
Um, didn't really understand that other people were being hurt
Yeah.
from it.
Hmm.
That other people had to go without,
Hmm.
in order for me to have. Um, and those are the things that started to make me look at it differently as
Yeah.
I got older, and
Hmm.
that's how I was able to quit.
Yeah.
Going to jail didn't stop me from selling cocaine.
It wasn't jail that stopped you.
No, no, no. I
Yeah.
stopped on my own.
Yeah.
I stopped about a year and a half before I got arrested.
Okay. And what did you actually go to jail for in the first time?
Drug trafficking.
Oh, so you went to jail for drug trafficking the first time.
Yeah, only time all my convictions is drug trafficking.
Got you. And how much did they actually charge you for at that time there?
I think less than 49 keys. We had made a deal in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Uh, they said that I was bringing about that much every month to Cincinnati is what they said,
Yeah.
and they said that they would cut me a deal for 49 keys or under,
Hmm.
which would put me at a certain sentencing guideline, which
Yeah.
carried 0 to 10 years. So I was willing to take the 10 years,
Okay.
and we made a deal for that.
Yeah. And I know at that time there the drug laws were more, it was more harsh on crack than it was actually on cocaine itself.
Correct.
So getting caught with 49 kilos of cocaine or crack?
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Okay, so then you weren't in that super danger zone at that time there.
No, no. 49 keys of crack would have given you a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Yeah. Right away.
What had
Wow.
happened is I had stopped selling crack at that time.
Yeah.
I had when I went to Cincinnati, people didn't want it already cooked up. In LA, they wanted it already cooked.
Got you.
In Cincinnati, they didn't. They wanted powder. So,
Hmm.
really was the market that really drove my situation.
Hmm.
And I'm lucky that it did, because had I been selling crack down there, I would have gotten a lot more time.
Yeah. Your life is so interesting, from the people you've met to what they've done for you to what you've done for people. It's just unbelievable what you've been through. You understand?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I
And
get it.
is it would you say it's lucky or would you say it's blessed?
Well, a lot of times, I'm always thinking of
Hmm.
how to better my position.
Hmm.
How to do it better and right, and
Hmm.
I think that we have to put that into the equation as well.
Yeah.
A little luck, a little planning.
Yeah. And the rest is history.
Yes.
All
I mean,
right.
because if when you look at it, I don't know if you had the chance to read this article right here in LA Magazine.
No, I didn't read that one there.
Oh, you didn't read this? Oh, you got this? Is the best article they ever wrote on me. It's
Okay.
called. It says the Crack King is back,
Yeah.
and in this article, this guy he's writing my obituary. He says he's writing my obituary.
Wow.
If,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah. He says LA's most famous drug dealer was doing life. I was writing his obituary, and in that article, you saw the documentary.
Yes, I did. Cracks in the system.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. At the beginning of that documentary, me and him are talking.
Mhm.
I'm in jail.
Yes, where we don't see you, we just hear you.
Correct.
Mhm.
That's the article that he was writing, but he was also recording it at the same time. So
Mhm.
I was telling him all the things that I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
I was telling him about it in that
yeah.
interview when he was writing my obituary. He was writing my obituary, and I was like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be telling
Yeah.
politicians what to do, preachers. Uh, uh, I was gonna be helping run this country.
Yes.
Basically, is what I told him.
Mhm.
And he was saying, "How you gonna be doing that from a jail cell? You ain't never coming out of here.
Mhm.
You done. You're dead.
Yeah.
You dead. You're not supposed to be talking." And
Said,
so
no, I'm not.
in the article, I was telling him about my books. That I was gonna have books coming out.
Mhm.
As you can see, I got 2 books that's out
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
Bestsellers. Both of them are bestsellers.
Mhm.
Uh, one is a bestseller on Amazon. Um, the movie's almost finished. The movie script is almost finished.
Okay.
Um, Now, one thing I didn't count on was marijuana. I had never
Yeah.
thought that I would be in the marijuana industry, but
So
but
back then, when you
here I am.
when you were in the cocaine game, were you actually dabbling in marijuana at that time too, or
I
that was
smoked.
nowhere?
I
Okay.
smoked, and I sold too. I sold a little bit. I didn't give it the attention that I should have.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand marijuana.
Yeah. But if you didn't think, you probably thought it wouldn't give you the returns like how you were getting on the other stuff there.
Yeah. I would have been having to carry boatloads,
Yeah.
which wouldn't have been bad though. Which wouldn't have been
Yeah.
bad, because boatloads of marijuana carried about the same amount of time as 2 ounces of crack. So
Got you. But it was too much space. You didn't have time to put this in any space here. You
I could have,
understand?
I could have,
Yeah.
I could have,
Yeah.
I could have had time. I had the places, I
Mhm.
had houses and I had everything I needed. I could have did it.
Crazy. Let me ask you, when was the last time you actually heard of the rapper Rick Ross?
I don't know. He's fading away.
Yeah. No, when was that first time you heard of him?
Oh, I thought you said the last time.
No, first time you heard.
I was in prison, and one of the young guys. I had a book club in prison, and one of the guys that was in my book club came and bought me a magazine article and had this guy in there who said his name was Rick Ross, and I was like, what?
Yeah. And what was it like seeing that for the first time?
Um, it was flattering. It was flattering.
Okay.
It's flattering to have somebody to name themselves after you. I mean, hip hop has made me one of the biggest guys ever in hip hop.
Yeah.
Especially for somebody that's not a rapper.
Yeah.
My name has been talked about probably more than anybody else. In the game, and probably longer than anybody.
Yeah.
They've been mentioning me in rap. Whew,
For
from
a
the
long
'80s.
time
Master
now.
Spade in the '80s was doing it, and they still doing it right now today. And
Okay.
and even guys like the Baby, they rap about my lifestyle. What I did,
Crazy.
and
Crazy.
and it's just amazing. That it could have went so long and had so much influence.
Yeah. Yeah, but what you don't know, even the look, the beard, I've never seen a modern picture without the beard. From you're an adult, I've never seen a picture without your beard there. So from the beard, the name, the lifestyle, that influence has married hip hop for generations to come right now. Just because of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Beyond. What was the inspiration behind the beard? Why you've always had your beard?
It just grew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't shave it because I would bump up.
Yeah.
So I rather kept the hair than bump up.
Yeah.
And
I,
I'm always the kind of person that um, I go with functionality
Mhm.
over look, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
100%, 1000% understood.
Yeah, some people they like look over functionality. It looks good, but it don't work.
Yeah.
Me on the other hand, I would like something that works, and I don't care how it looks.
Yeah. I could tell you're just so down to earth. When you were in your I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions before I get you out of here. When you were in your heyday, because I know you seem to be a very down to earth person, what was one thing that you actually did that you had to actually check yourself and say, hey Rick, you're doing too much right now?
I don't know.
Mhm,
I'm a pretty good checker of myself. I'm always looking at what I do, and I'm
mhm,
always judging myself.
mhm,
I try to judge myself constantly,
mhm,
and I'm always constantly trying to improve my position.
mhm,
Uh, so if it was something that I saw that I was doing wrong,
mhm.
I would correct it.
Yeah.
I would start trying to correct it. Like right now, I'm
Mhm.
trying to reverse the stomach that I done
Yeah.
accumulated. This is the hardest thing. Hey, this is the
Yeah.
hardest thing I ever tried to correct. You
Crazy.
know.
And you've been correcting for a while now. Crazy.
Yeah, but I'm pretty critical. I try to be critical of myself.
Mhm,
I try to be my best, my best critic. I
mhm,
try to be the guy who get myself back on track. You
mhm.
know, it's the thing about when you play tennis, you have to coach yourself.
Okay.
So I don't know if you ever watch the tennis matches and you see them talking to themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yep.
because then you get used to coaching yourself. So,
Mhm.
you try to figure out what you're doing wrong and you try to correct them. Tennis has really been a blessing to me. I mean,
Yeah.
playing the game of tennis. I went to a clinic at UCLA, and the coach was saying that in one tennis match, a person makes over 60,000 decisions.
Yes, I did remember hearing that. Yep.
So when you figure that you're making those kind of decisions on a daily basis, you become a pretty good decision maker.
Mhm. Makes sense. Makes a 100% sense. And when the last time you were in jail, how long were you actually in jail for?
The last time I did 14 and 8, and the first time I did 5 and 3 or something like that.
So you
5,
did 20 altogether.
yeah, 20 something altogether. Like 20 and 3 months, I think it is.
Yeah. So your last stretch there, how different was the world when you actually came out opposed to when you went in?
Oh, well, the biggest difference was the internet
Yeah.
and cell phones. When I went to jail, I was one of the few people who had a cell phone in the neighborhood. And
Mhm.
when I got out, little kids had cell phones. So it was a big difference. The prices had dropped.
Mhm.
I remember my phone bill used to be like 75 cents a minute to make a
Yeah.
phone call. So uh, when I got out, they had these plans where you could get unlimited minutes for $60 and $100, and I was like, "What the hell?" So it was a big difference.
That was the biggest difference for you there.
Yeah,
Wow.
probably that the internet,
Mhm.
being here and how much people depend on computers.
Yeah. Where it went from actually not really being in anybody's life to being in everybody's life. Almost it seemed like an overnight process.
Yeah.
Mhm. Wow. Crazy there. All right. I know you've been out since '09 to 11. What's the biggest difference with Rick Ross from 2009 to 2020?
Well, I finally started to learn my way around. I'm knowing people now. I know who's full of shit and who you can count on. I'm learning what businesses work, what businesses don't work,
Mhm.
and I'm generating a little money now.
Mhm.
When I got home, I had $200. Uh, so it was very important that you have some money when you're doing things,
Yeah,
because without money, it's hard to maneuver in this society.
you're right. And what was your first business venture when you came home?
I started a trucking company. I started a website, Freeway
Okay.
Enterprise.
Mhm.
What else did I do? Mm, I was doing my speaking engagements. I was still doing the
Yeah.
speaking engagements.
Mhm.
Then I started the T-shirts,
Like the one you're
music.
wearing right now?
Yep, yep, yep.
Stand up so we can see it 1 second there. The real Rick Ross is not a rapper.
And it's even funny how that came about. I was on a Joe Rogan show one day, and I told Joe that I was doing bad financially,
Mhm.
and he told me that I should do a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I was walking down the street, and this kid stopped me, and he's like, "Man, we got a T-shirt idea for you."
Yeah.
And they told me what it was. Real Rick Ross is not a rapper. I was like, "Ah, that's so fucking corny."
Yeah. Ah.
But you know what? I did like I always do, and I listened.
Mhm.
And I went with the kid. He made it up, and he gave me 100 shirts, and I sold them all the same day.
Not so corny after all, eh?
No, I said, well, you know what? That kid was on to something.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know who the kid was, but he's a famous designer too. So
Okay, so it's a win-win for all parties involved.
yeah. So
Mhm.
you just never know. That's why you have to keep an open mind. All the
Mhm.
time. Let your mind be open and let it roam. Let it be free. Let it
Mhm.
let it just study, charm up life. For you.
Yeah. And do you think that that's one of your biggest assets from back then to right now is actually listening and observing what's going on around you?
Yes, definitely. Paying attention, being open minded is definitely a plus. So many people are closed minded that they can't see uh, what's going on. Because there's opportunities all around us here in this country.
Yeah. You just got to figure it out and find out what it is. Two
Yeah.
last questions before I get you out of here. I want to talk about your marijuana business right now. All right. What's the name of it?
LA Kingpin.
LA Kingpin. And how did you actually get involved with marijuana, legal marijuana at that?
Well, I started off on the black market.
Hmm.
I was doing bad. Was having problems paying my rent,
Hmm.
and I just got off parole.
Hmm.
And one of my partners came over, and he was like, uh, "Man, I'm going to the Cannabis Cup out here in San Bernardino. You ought to roll with me." And I was like, "I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be around those guys. With that
Hmm.
weed and shit, that dope, and
Yeah.
because I was indoctrinated in my mind what I had been through in court, and I just got off parole, so I was still like, you can get violated for that. So,
Yeah.
he eventually talked me into going out, uh, and I never saw nothing like it before. I took 200 books with me. I sold all the books that I took
Hmm.
with me. That's how he got me to go. He said, "Man, I bet they'll buy some books out there."
Yeah.
So they bought all the books, and then I see these people, and they got big jars of marijuana and trash bags of marijuana just sitting on the counter, and the police are walking by, and the police are protecting them.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What is going on here?"
Hmm.
And when I got home that night, I told my brothers, I said, "Man, I'm finna get in the marijuana industry, man."
Hmm.
Because I was kind of shocked that even though my brothers all smoked marijuana, been smoking all their lives, that they had put marijuana stores on the corner of our street.
Crazy.
And I'm like,
Wow.
how you guys let people that don't look like us come to our neighborhood and sell weed,
Yeah.
on our block, and,
Hmm.
and you guys are not getting involved.
Hmm.
So, I said that I couldn't take the same thing that they did. I had to go out and open some doors. So
Hmm.
I got busy, I stayed on the black market and started to do really well too. I got stopped up in the mountains with 105,000 one day, and that kind of set me back a little bit. But from the black market, I started to hear that the city was going to give out more licenses, and that
Okay.
they wanted people from the black market to get involved. So I started going to all the city hall meetings and talking to the councilmen and so forth. And then the next thing you know, um, I found out what it takes to get a license.
And here you are.
Yeah, and I got a cousin and a brother too that may get one as well.
Okay.
They had no clue. They had no clue about a license, but I put them up on what they had to do. They signed up, so maybe they're gonna get theirs the next round.
Yeah. And is it for to be a legal grower, or is it to open a dispensary? Is it to have your own strain? Exactly what is it for?
All that,
All of that.
all of that.
Yeah.
They just let your boy get all of that. I can do all of that.
Yeah.
And I wanted all of that. I want all of that.
With your mind and how it works, oh man.
Oh yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
Hmm.
Um, I see this could possibly be a turning point, in history.
Yeah, for
Because I
sure.
only would imagine how big I would be in the cocaine business if nobody never stopped me. And then if I'd have been able to advertise on TV and on billboards and all that, it would have been crazy. It would have been crazy.
Imagine that. Imagine that, eh?
Or go to a store and say, "Hey, this is Rick Ross. I got the best cocaine in the world."
It's wild how life works because nobody could ever tell you that a couple years down the road that you'll be into marijuana legally and you could go to a convention and police isn't stopping anybody, they're actually protecting people.
Well, you'll see when you read this article. I didn't know anything about cocaine. I told them all
Yeah,
the other businesses that I was going to do.
yeah,
Like boxing. I'm going to be the king of boxing.
yeah,
I'm gonna have a fighter that make more money than Floyd Mayweather. I got a young fighter right now that's
okay.
dynamite,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna show him how that anybody can do, basically what Floyd did.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what you put your brain power to now on a legal way because trust me, what you've done on the black market, now you're going to do it legally is crazy. Last question I got for you here. I want to talk about your new podcast you have. All right. Looking for Game podcast. How did you come up with that there?
My man Echo came up with the idea,
Yeah.
um, and when he told me about it, I thought it was brilliant.
Hmm. And what are you actually trying to do with your podcast and your platform right now?
Well, eventually, I want to go to one of the major distributors
Hmm.
with the idea, and possibly get that done.
Hmm.
I've been talking to WorldStar
Okay.
about possibly doing a deal with them.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I'm just gonna ride it. It's good for everything I do though.
Yeah.
It helps. So
It ties everything back into the brand because I seen you had a
yeah.
conversation with Jane Elliott the other day.
Oh, no doubt. That was
Yeah.
wonderful, man. Jane
Yeah.
is dope. Jane is
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. Especially with right now with what's going on. How did you guys even say, okay, let's do that on my platform?
Well, I have a team of people.
Hmm.
People see me and they may think, oh, that's Rick. But no,
Hmm.
it's not just me. I got a team of
Hmm.
some really, really smart people.
Hmm.
And they really they put out. My people really put out a lot of energy. Uh, and they may not be as quite as dedicated as I am to this, but they're pretty dedicated.
Yeah.
So I would have to give them some credit for a lot of the things that I get done. They bring ideas to me, they screen ideas,
Hmm.
and they kind of know what I like and what I don't like, and
Yeah.
that makes life a little easier for you. When you got people around you who know you,
Yeah. That makes
and
100% sense. What's the biggest misconception of Rick Ross?
well, I think for the business world is that they don't think I can do business. People don't know that I read over 300 books while I was in prison, and so what I wanted to do is, when I was in prison, guys used to tell me, older guys used to be in there, and they would say, "Man, if you could just mix the streets with the books, you would be unstoppable."
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to learn how to combine the two.
Hmm.
How to take everything I learned from the streets and mix it with the books. So that's why I read so many books,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm so dynamic.
Let's leave it on that word there. Listen, all this great stuff you're doing everywhere, leave your contacts so they can check out what you're doing and see what you're doing and follow you on your journey because believe you me, your journey is far from over.
Oh, no question, no question. Right now, I'm also working on a black agenda. you know, where I'm going to get the smartest people I can find and bring them into the black community to teach black people how to conduct business. I'm working on that as well. It's coming on good. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, this Saturday at 6 o'clock, we're going to have Jay Morrison. Jay Morrison raised $12 million. He's an ex-crack dealer, and he'll be on there speaking on how he did it, and he's going to help me do it. So check us out on Zoom. Also, you can follow me at Freeway Ricky on Instagram and on Facebook, Freeway Ricky Ross. If you want to buy the books, you can go to my website, freewayrickyross.com. We remodeling it, so you finna see a website that's gonna be off the chain.
All right.
Coming real soon. And we're gonna be posting on our website all of the dispensaries that you can go and buy the product in. Also, we're going to have our own delivery service. We're setting up to do our own delivery service here in California. So be on the lookout for the delivery service coming soon. I guess that's it.
Yeah. a lot of great stuff. Trust me, when I come to California, I definitely got to come check you out. Or if for some miracle you get to Canada, you got to come check me out also.
Well, we got to figure that out. I'm going to need some help. Listen,
the help is right here. One phone call, one email, one text right away.
This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinesmusichut.com.